All right, hello and welcome. If you're getting ready for your PIPFA or DAO exams, then you are in exactly the right place. We're about to dive deep into the Department of the Auditor General of Pakistan's Financial Audit Manual, or FAM for short. We're going to break down its entire framework for audit quality, so let's get right into it.
Now, before we jump into any of the technical stuff, I want to start with this quote from the manual itself. This right here, this is the why. Every single procedure, every standard we're about to talk about is built on this one powerful idea, public accountability. It's really the bedrock of public trust in government.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the main goal, which is, of course, audit quality. Then we'll basically follow the entire life of an audit, from building the foundation and planning it all out, through quality control and assurance, and all the way to that final cycle of improvement. Right, so Section 1. The whole point of the Financial Audit Manual, with all its chapters and procedures, is to hit one primary target: producing high-quality audits that the government, the parliament, and most importantly, the public can actually rely on. It's really important to get this. The FAM isn't just some internal rulebook. Its whole purpose is to bring Pakistan's public sector audits up to speed with global best practices, specifically the standards set by INTOSAI. That's the International Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions. We're talking about building a real framework for excellence here. So how do you build this framework for excellence? Well, before you can even think about procedures, you have to start with principles. These are the foundational standards and values that hold up the entire quality framework, and they're what every single auditor is expected to live and breathe. Integrity, excellence, reliability. Look, these aren't just buzzwords on a slide. The manual makes it super clear that these are the ethical and professional bedrock that all quality procedures are built on. Every single action and decision an auditor makes has to flow from these core values.
Okay, so let's be real. Quality doesn't just happen by accident. It all starts with super careful planning. The annual audit plan is where the strategy for quality really begins, making sure that all the audit resources are aimed at the areas that matter most.
And right at the heart of all that planning is risk assessment. You can think of it as the auditor's way of strategically asking, hey, what could possibly go wrong here? Where are the biggest financial or compliance risks? This whole process makes sure that all the hard work is applied where it's needed most, which makes the audit both efficient and effective. And as you can see, this process is incredibly systematic. You start by understanding what the organization is trying to achieve, then you identify the threats, you rate the risks, you look at the controls they already have in place, and then, finally, you recommend improvements. It's just a logical flow from A to B. All right, planning's done, and now we're in the thick of it, the fieldwork. So how do we make sure quality is being baked into the audit while it's actually happening? Well, that's where quality control, or QC, comes in. These are your real-time checks and balances. The two key words for quality control are concurrent and preventative. It's all about watching over the work as it's being done to catch any potential mistakes or issues early on, before the audit is finished and the report goes out the door. And this is what QC actually looks like on the ground. It's that direct supervision from a senior auditor. It's reviewing the paperwork throughout the audit, not just saving it all for the end, and it's making sure all the documentation standards are met in real time. Each step is building quality as the work gets done. Now, let's switch gears and compare that to the next stage, quality assurance, or QA. So the fieldwork's over, the report is out. QA is that backward-looking process that evaluates how effective the audit and the whole system really was. And this is all laid out in Chapter 13 of the FAM. So, if QC is all about prevention, QA is all about evaluation. It asks the big questions. Did our quality control system actually work? Is the final report up to snuff? And like Chapter 13 outlines, what can we learn from this to make the entire system better for the next audit? Okay, now if you're studying for your PIPFA and DAO exams, this slide is absolutely crucial. Seriously, getting the difference between QC and QA right is a game changer. So let's lock it in. Quality control is preventive, and it happens during the audit. Quality assurance is evaluative, and it happens after. You've really got to know this distinction cold. And we can see exactly how these ideas play out with two types of reviews. First, you've got an in-process hot review. That's classic quality control, a senior team member reviewing work as it's happening. Then you have a post-audit cold review, which is what FAM Chapter 13 is all about. That's a quality assurance move, where an independent team reviews completed audits to learn those big system-wide lessons. This leads us to the final piece of this quality puzzle, and it's covered in Chapter 14 of the manual. An audit isn't really finished just because the report is submitted. Its true value comes from actually driving real improvements, and that's why the follow-up phase is so incredibly important.
I mean, this slide says it all, right? You've got to close the loop. Think about a real-world example, like an audit that finds massive electricity line losses. Just pointing that out in a report isn't enough. The follow-up process, which is detailed in Chapter 14, is what makes sure that company actually acts on the recommendations, maybe by upgrading equipment or improving meters. See, a finding is just information. A corrected problem is actual progress.
Okay, PIPFA and DAO candidates, we've gone through the whole cycle. Let's boil this all down into the absolute must-know takeaways for your exams. Let's just run through these one more time to make sure they stick. QC is during and preventative. QA is after and evaluative. That's your Chapter 13. Planning always kicks off with risk assessment. The whole reason we do any of this is for public accountability. And follow-up from Chapter 14 is what turns findings into action. This is the core of what you need to nail. So, after all that, after breaking down risk assessment, QC, QA, and follow-up, let's zoom out and end with a bigger question. How does a really technical manual like this actually build something as human and as vital as public trust? And here's the answer. This whole quality management framework, it's not just some bureaucratic exercise, ticking off boxes on a checklist. No way. Think of it as the engine that actually drives public accountability. It's the structure, the rigor, the professional backbone that makes sure public funds are being handled the right way. And that right there is how you build the public trust that is so essential for a democratic government.